Hey guys, it's Jones and we are back with my Pool 101. And as you know, you're on this journey with me. I have never owned a pool before, but I am trying to use as few chemicals as possible. So have I put stuff in the pool? Yes, I have put 320 pounds of salt in the pool, 7.5 pounds of stabilizer, and 1 quart of metal out. But that is all I put in to open this pool for the season. So nothing else has gone in. The pool is crystal blue. It looks great. I haven't tested the water in a week, so I haven't put anything in a week. I haven't tested the water in a week, but I have had my pumps running and my chlorinator working. So I do have a salt generator that kind of converts that salt into chlorine organically, but that's all I've had running. So I don't know how the water is gonna be. I'm gonna test it today and we'll find out if I have to have any other chemicals or if I can just keep rolling on with only adding salt. Stay tuned. All right, so my buddy Marshall showed up. Marshall knows a lot more about water chemistry than I do. And as I'm going through this, I've got questions. I'm sure you have questions. I don't know a lot about all the different nuances when you're reading these readouts. So for example, this unit says that my alkalinity is high. The max is 100 parts per million. I'm at 140 parts per million. Thoughts?
And different systems read out different ranges, different ideal ranges. So this says 100.
It says 140.
I've seen 100, yeah, 140 max.
Parts per million.
Yeah.
That's what is current. My result right now is 140 parts per million.
Yeah.
It says the range is between 60 and 100.
Yeah, I think a lot of testers, like if you're using test strips like this, even, this is gonna, well, this is a different type of test system. Your more traditional testers like those, your little water test strips that have like 5 little colors on it, will say for alkalinity 80 to 120. Okay. This is a little different. It's all still the same range. In your case, still it needs to come down. Okay. Yeah, it still needs to come down. If
I have an alkalinity of 140, it needs to come down. Now, I don't think Marshall knows, but as I'm trying to film this vlog, I'm trying to not use a lot of chemicals to get my water level balance. So my plan is, and just to note, my alkalinity is high, but my free chlorine is also a little low. So my plan is to turn my generator on high and run it on max chlorinate for 24 hours without changing anything for the alkalinity, without putting anything in there, and without doing anything to the pH, because the pH is reading at 7.7, and I think 7.7. It's supposed to be in like 7.6 is the max, or 7.5.
Ideal is, for your pool, ideal would be 7.5. Okay. Something like that.
So I'm not exactly where I need to be. I am going to put my pool on super chlorinate. Yeah. So I'm going to let it go for 24 hours. I'm going to check it tomorrow, and if the alkalinity is still high and the pH is still high, then your recommendation would be to add pH minus?
Yeah, you would want to add pH minus. That chemical is the same chemical that will also lower your alkalinity.
Okay, now let's pause here, because on my pool, I also have something called the sense and dispense. Yeah. So it senses the water, it's hooked up to an acid tank with muriatic acid, and it drips that into the line. So it's supposed to keep the pH balanced and the alkalinity down, I assume. Yeah. If both of those are controlled the same.
Yeah, that sense and dispense is just for your pH monitoring. Okay. That acid drip should control that, which is, it's perfect for this pool because saltwater pools are always high in pH. They're always sitting high. Okay. It's always with all the pools I've tested and helped open up and all that.
Let's back up. Marshall is CPO certified, so that's certified
pool and spa alliance. I've done a course, and I've just tested a whole lot of pools, and I've seen a lot of those.
So what you're saying is, hey, if it doesn't work tomorrow, I should put something in it.
And then on a site, like if you bought a system, your system should be doing something. It seems like it's not, so that's a different conversation.
Well, I haven't had it running at max speed for 4 or 5 days. Okay. So I'm just now turning it on max, and so truth be told, I was out of town and didn't want to really run it as much. So I had it running low, but today I'm going to run it on high. For 24 hours. I'm going to check it tomorrow, show everybody what the results are, but if the results are still very similar to this, then I might have to add something to the pool. Yeah. I don't want to put any chemicals in the pool. I'm going to wait 24 hours and see what happens.
See what it says.
That's my readout. All right. stay tuned and we'll see what happens in 24 hours. So hopefully I don't have to add any chemicals to the pool, maybe salt, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
All right.
4 to 6 days later.
Hey guys, it's been a few days since I tested the water last, and when I checked it, it looked like my pH was high. Now I have a sense and dispense system on my pool. What that's supposed to do is sense that pH level and then dispense acid to it so it brings it down. But I think I'm having some issues. I keep getting an overfeed. So I know I'm trying to get to no chemicals and a trouble-free equipment pad. I'm not there yet, but I really do think the sense and dispense will do it. So what I've had to do is put in about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of pH minus. So I didn't want to add any more chemicals. I have now put in 2 pounds of pH minus, about 300-400 pounds of salt, and about 2.5 to 3 pounds of stabilizer. Regardless, I've not put in a lot of chemicals, but I am still having to add some stuff. So I'm going to test the water again. It's been another 4 or 5 days. I'm going to test the water again and see if that pH has come down any. But it did rain a lot, so I'm not sure if that rain affects anything. I had the cover closed and I've already got water filled up. And I know not everybody has a spin touch system, but if you're really trying to get chemical free and you want to figure it out, this is a good option. I'm going to do it for you, so maybe you don't have to ever buy one of these spin touch. Hopefully at the end of this, you'll know what your equipment pad needs to look like to use as few chemicals as possible. So I've got that done. Let me put this in here real quick. Put this on the top. And we'll start our test. Now the test is going to show us free chlorine, parts per million. It's going to give us pH, calcium, all the different stuff you want to check for when you're looking at your water. But right now, the only thing that seems to be out of whack for me is my pH. So it's not bad. When I checked it, it was about 7.9. I'm trying to get it down to maybe 7.6, 7.7, or somewhere in that range. My free chlorine is good, but my pH is still high. So just working to try to minimize the pH level and bring it down. So we'll see what happens, but the test is almost done here. And I do love these spin touches. They're expensive, they're pricey. It's about $1,000. However, if you're wanting to get as chemical free as possible, maybe it's a good investment for you, but the discs are what end up costing you money. You got to keep buying these discs to make it work. Regardless, I picked mine up at poolwarehouse.com. Great price, check it out. Our test is almost done. And we'll see what the readout is. Now it's showing my free chlorine is 2.12, total chlorine level 2.65. And then let me send that to my phone. And I do love that Spin Touch has a great app you can use that lets you send all that data to your phone and also gives you combined chlorine is 0.53, pH 7.8. So I'm closer to where I need to be. I don't know that I need to put any more pH minus in the pool. I'm gonna let it go for a couple more days. My chlorine seems good as well. I'm gonna see if my sense and dispense can't resolve that. I do have a ticket in with Hayward to figure out what's going on with that sense and dispense, and I've called my local pool company to see if they can help as well. But regardless, it's looking great. On my report for treatment, it really doesn't call for much. So it's saying consider adding some treatment in for calcium hardness to bring the calcium down. And it says the alkalinity is a little high and I should consider reducing that as well. But I think I can also work that out through perhaps a little bit of superchlorination. And I have a HydroPure system. If you're not familiar with that, that's AOP. It's going to combine blue, I guess it's that lighting. It's a UV blue light that the water passes through. Regardless, it's a UV lighting that it's going to go through, and some other tricks that are inside the box to help purify the water as well. Anyway, let's take a look at the pool. It looks fantastic. At this point, I'm still pretty much chemical free. I don't feel like I've gone too heavy-handed, only having less than 400 pounds of salt and less than 10 pounds of overall product I've added in, and that product only being stabilizer and pH minus. So really haven't put anything else in. Let's take a peek at the pool, see how good it looks, and we'll continue to dial it in. All right, so I'm at the pool, and as I mentioned, it looks great. So I was telling you guys that I haven't used a lot of chemicals. I haven't used a lot of product, maybe less than 10 pounds of total, I guess what I would call chemicals, pH minus and stabilizer. Everything else I put in has been salt, and whatever acid is coming from my sense and dispense, it automatically drips that in there. Regardless, so check out this pool. The water is clean, it's beautiful. I have had the cover closed during the rain, but if you have an automatic cover, I think you can really get close to not putting a lot of chemicals in your pool. At this point, we're in May, like the middle of May, so things look good. No chemicals to a massive extent have been put in, but I think the water looks fantastic. I know we spent a lot of time talking about pH levels and testing the water, but you're learning with me. The pool looks great. It's time to start enjoying it. Stay tuned, we're about to have some fun.